In episode 123,
and I was actually wearing leggings and a t-shirt. And my wife is like, "Are you sure daddy's ready?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's dressed." So I kind of just like inside me, I was like, "Yes, my little man, yes." He made a couple comments during one of the services as far as you cannot consider yourself a Christian if you support Joe Biden. So I was like, "Whoa, buddy,
wow.
hold on a second. You cannot be speaking like that." To the point where I was actually contemplating suicide because I felt like I couldn't be authentic to myself.
Hmm.
Uh, I I keep having these thoughts because I drive to work 1 hour and I keep having these thoughts of how can I make it look like an accident, you know?
Welcome to the CrossYaas Podcast, the podcast that still says yes to everything related to cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender. My name is Giselle Mirasol. I consider myself transgender in the vast transgender umbrella, even as a cross-dresser, because, well, I cross-dress. And I will be your host and guide into the wild and wonderful world of cross-dressing, sexuality, and, well, gender. Help support the podcast by going to our website, CrossYaAS and, well, click on our Patreon links to get bonus stuff to see how you can support us. You can chat with me, Sierra, Megan, Ty, Maddie, Lily, and the other wonderful CrossYaas contributors and listeners on our CrossYaas confidential Discord, which is also available on our website for, well, yeah, even more support. And finally, if you enjoyed Bella's story and have your own personal story that's cross-dressing, sexuality, and or gender related, but you're like, I don't know, super concerned because you're probably thinking to yourself, does anyone really want to hear my story? Well, duh. You know me and you should know the answer by now. The answer is obviously a loud, frickin' yes! Hit me up, Giselle at CrossYaASPodcast.com, DM me on Instagram at CrossYaASPodcast, or chat me up on Discord, Rochi_Mochi #7325. Really can't wait to hear from you. Happy end of June, lovely CrossYaas listener, and June was a crazy one, wasn't it? Started off this month hanging out with my CrossYaas production team girls, Sierra, Megan, Ty, and Lily. And, well, we've launched our YouTube page as well, which, well, you can find on our website, where we've launched some audio interviews with some video components coming soon. And this month has been crazy. We've released over 10 episodes of this month, including this one here on the podcast. So if you're enjoying them, again, send me some feedback. Let me know. Email Giselle at CrossYaASPodcast.com, or hit me up on Discord, our CrossYaas Confidential, which you can also find on our website as well. Also, and I'm telling you, seriously, check out our Patreon, because if you haven't, you're missing out on a lot. As like as a Patreon patron, because, this month we released better bonus episodes with 3 bonus episodes, with one being a 3-way with me, Megan, and Maddie. Well, yeah, we talk about our anal experiences and a whole lot more. So yeah, if you want to hear how that turned out, you're just going to have to be a Patreon patron at the 2nd or 3rd tier, but there's a lot on there. So join it, CrossYaASPodcast.com. It's on the website. Stuff for you there to enjoy. But as for this episode, Bella, a crossdresser from the Midwest, has her own crazy story, and, well, she shares it with me on this episode for my Curi YAAS convo here on the podcast. And boy, once she told me she was a pastor, well, all hell broke loose. You'll see. It's episode 123, and it's possibly my last episode this month. We'll see, but it's the end of Pride, but it's not the end of the CrossYaas podcast. But see, I keep blabbering on, so I'll shut up. Here's my Curi YAAS convo with Bella. Enjoy. Welcome, Bella, to the CrossYaas podcast. How are you today, girl?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Yes. Well, what brings you to the podcast, Bella?
I'm just ready to share my story. I think it's time to open up a little bit more and start, being more free. So that's the reason why I'm here. I gotta kick that door wide open.
Yay, that's great. That's good. Well, do you want to start with our origin story? What are you, a crossdresser, or how did you come to terms with that, or how do you identify all of that jazz?
Well, for the longest time, I identified as crossdresser. Just recently, a week or two, I started thinking I think I'm just gender fluid. So as of right now, I'm thinking gender fluid.
So how did you figure that out for yourself, Bella?
My wife asked me actually a couple of weeks ago. She was like, "So how do you identify as?" I'm like, "I'm a male. And she's like, well, like, as far as your cross dressing, I'm like, I don't know, actually. I mean, I guess you can, I think I can consider myself gender fluid. And she's like, okay, okay, just trying to figure out what's up. And I said, yeah, I think I'm gender fluid. I don't necessarily have to be cross dressed, like fully dress up to feel good about it. It's just like different things here and there. So, like, I think I mentioned it before, I wear skinny jeans out in public all the time because that's just what I enjoy. I don't mind, I don't mind wearing feminine things, that they're like not so, puts me out there yet, but I don't know. I mean, I can see different things that I like. So that's the reason why I came up with, maybe I'm just gender fluid. I'm still trying to discover that more, of course.
And this you said was a recent thing. It wasn't like you haven't known for your whole life. Are you considered a late bloomer? Would you say?
Oh, no, no, no. I've been cross dressing since I was like 5 years old. So I've been cross dressing forever. I'm 37 right now, so it's I've been doing it for over 30 years.
Yay, that's great. That's great. Um, and you say you're married to your wife, and did she recently find out? Is that what you said? No, she's.
No, actually, she found out. I've been married for 17 years, and she found out probably 2 years into our marriage, but she actually just kind of blocked it out, if that makes any sense. Uh, she seen me dress up one time, and she was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And we kind of play around with it, have fun, and it's just kind of got put away. And then later on, after we were moving to a different place, I still have my box of stuff, and she's like, "What's all this?" kind of thing. Like she'd completely block it out, and I'm like, "What do you mean? You know I do this?" She's like, "I don't remember that." I'm like, "Dude, are you joking with me?" And she was like, "No, I'm serious. I don't remember that." I'm like, "You don't remember doing this?" No. So I think that's one of them kind of mysteries of the mind where they block something. I don't know if it's trauma or whatever, but she completely blocked it out. So
Mm.
she knows. I say she knows 2 years or since like 2005, maybe she knows, and then she just found out about it again, probably 8, 9 years ago, and that's when I just been going more open in the house about it, kind of thing.
And do you have kids, Bella?
I do. I have 4 boys.
And do they know about Bella at all?
They know that Dad likes to wear girly clothes sometimes, like I say, skinny jeans. I wear leggings all the time at home. I'll come downstairs sometimes on female workout shirts, and they just kind of see it as whatever. But they don't know as far as like I'm not really out as far as being in public completely dressed up yet. I mean, I've been a few times, but not with them around.
Huh. And is it you haven't explained to them that do more than that? They just make the assumption that Dad just dresses with girl clothes. That's all.
Yeah, that's basically it. We don't really, they don't really see it different. It's just clothes, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just clothes. A couple of weeks ago, like I said, I was talking on the Discord about how, or it was this week, I don't know. My 5 year old, we were getting ready to go to the store, and my 5 year old told my wife, "Well, get ready because I'm ready and Daddy's ready." And I was actually wearing leggings and a t-shirt. And my wife is like, "Are you sure Daddy's ready?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's dressed." So I kind of just like inside me, I was like, "Yes, my little man, yes." So I told the wife, I said, "You see, there's just regular clothes. That's all it is. That's all people see. Kids with a clean mind, they don't really make anything of it. It's just clothes."
And you only dress up in the home, Bella?
I do most of the time. Yes, it's only at home. That was one of the requests of my wife. I have been out on road trips, fully dressed up. So, but that's not with the wife involved yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you want to be more open and public about Bella, or or are you like upset that you can only do it at home or in private with, you know?
Oh, well, the wife knows I want to be more open about it. It would be great to just, whatever I feel like wearing that day, I'll put on. And it doesn't matter if it's a pair of jeans, if it's a skirt, or whatever. And I had already brought that up to her. It's just a matter of getting her more on with it. She's still too worried about what people will think or say.
And is it because I'm guessing that you're of, and this is the assumption that you're Hispanic, Bella?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And where do you live exactly, Bella?
I live in the Midwest, so that's another thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might have a problem. So, what are your experiences of the Midwest being a cross dresser?
They were actually great. I do a lot of, well, used to do a lot of out of state work with the company that I'm with right now. I subcontract I do a lot of flooring and construction and things like that. So there for a little bit, I was going out of state for 3 weeks at a time. And, being out there, I'm always being very open about going to the store, even if I'm on guy mode and just go and buy whatever I feel like buying. I don't care if it's a nice hot pink dress or high heels, and I'll try them on at the store, and I don't care. It's just when I'm with the wife, I have to be more cautious and make sure that I don't make her feel uncomfortable.
Is
So
your wife Hispanic too? Bella?
no, no, no. She's white.
Okay. And I would assume, is there like a culture clash as well, being Hispanic and her being white, with regards to your cross dressing? Does that play a role at all?
No, not at all. Actually, it's more like a religious clash. I actually, believe it or not, I used to be a pastor. So
Interesting. Okay.
yes, yes. I've been uh, I've been on the pastoral staff for quite a while, since 2008. I believe that's when I got a minister's license, and I've been preaching the word and all of that, and all of this has been in the background of it. So that is her main concern. She's just 99% of her friends are, religious people kind of thing. And being from the Midwest, that's not really hard to find. You know what I mean? Because it's not as liberal as the West Coast or New York areas, nothing like that. So that's the hurdle right there that we got to get through.
Interesting. You know, I have so many questions now because you're throwing religion in here.
I'm sure you do.
So let me ask, what religion were you, or are you still a part of?
Pentecostal.
Okay. And
Pentecostal. And the funny thing is, when I first met my wife, it was also a Pentecostal church, but it was one of them very, very traditional church where females are not allowed to wear jeans or pants, nothing that pertains to a man kind of thing. I'm sure you heard that scripture plenty of times.
which one? Which one?
So, Deuteronomy 22:5, where it says, a woman shall not wear anything that pertain to a man, and a man shall not wear anything that pertain to a woman. So the way she was raised is she was not allowed to wear jeans, even leggings. She wasn't allowed to wear, and she had to wear skirts all the time. So that's the funny part, because once we got married and we went through a few years, we ended up doing more research about it, and we came up with she felt comfortable enough where she could start wearing jeans. So she didn't start wearing jeans until my son was 6 years old, so 9 years into our marriage. That's when she started wearing
Wow.
jeans more. Yeah.
Wow.
So she had to go through her own self discovery too. So I think it's kind of the things like why I understand her point of view, and I think she kind of understand my point of view.
I
So,
mean,
but
that's pretty big and drastic. The irony is that she can't wear any, like, jeans and whatnot, and you want to wear those jeans.
Well, and she does now. I mean, like I say, she can. We did some research and we, just kind of got the books out and see what does the Bible really says about this. And it's like, hey, babe, you go ahead and wear jeans if you want. You go ahead and dress however you feel like dressing. That's what I told her. So she started wearing jeans, and it's like, wow, this is, liberating. This is freedom kind of thing. And after being raised like that, it was great for her, and I supported her through all of it. It's like, hey, wear whatever you want. And but at the same time, that must have been one of the times where I was away from dressing up, so I wasn't really into it at the time, or I put it away kind of thing. So it's like, hey, let's focus on you kind of thing. And so she dresses up, wears jeans, wears whatever she wants now. Back in the day when she was going to this church, it was you can't wear anything that shows your cleavage or nothing like that. So it
True,
was
true.
it was kind of interesting.
So, I mean, aside from that, how was because you knew you were a cross-dresser from the age of 5, and yet you still became a pastor, probably, how old were you when you became a pastor, Bella?
That was in 2008, so 25.
And then you practiced as a pastor for how long, or are you still practicing?
Well, I'm still in the pastoral staff. We just kind of stopped going to church right when COVID hit because there was some disagreements with the head pastor of the church as far as he made a couple comments during one of the services as far as you cannot consider yourself a Christian if you support Joe Biden. So I was like, whoa, buddy,
Wow.
hold on a second. You cannot be speaking like that from the pulpit. And he didn't think there was anything wrong with it. And he did it again a couple of weeks later. So I went and I spoke with him and I told him, I said, listen, I cannot be part of this. I believe in your freedom to vote for whoever you want. And church shall not be getting involved in politics. And I say, I'm stepping down from this. I cannot be part of it. And his answer was, well, are you still planning on coming here? I said, for now. And then 2 weeks later, that's when COVID canceled everything in the Midwest. So they reopened up again, and we just haven't been back because I don't want to backtrack from the freedom that I got since I left.
So I
So
have to ask then, as a cross-dresser for, obviously over 30 something years, and you being a pastor in, for about what, 13 years, um,
yes,
you're cross-dressing. We have a lot of religious people who listen to the podcast, potentially, religious people who, when I first heard that Deuteronomy thing that was in that thing, and then had to start a whole podcast about it, about being like, hey, let's read, with the struggling idea of like, well, if I have struggles with God and I'm a cross-dresser, I may feel different and I may feel weird. And if I look at the Bible, if say I'm religious and I look at the Bible as the word of God and the word of whatnot, not that I'm super religious, but I do like thinking about those things for those potential, how does this make me look in the eyes of God and the rest of the world? If a person is a biblical reader or religious and goes to the book, and you, who is a pastor, who is a cross-dresser, who does dress as women's clothes, is there a disconnect for you to look at the eyes of God and see yourself, as like, if you believe the word of God is the, in the Bible, like, how do you deal with that? And how would a potential listener who is religious kind of deal with that?
well, first of all, I don't think that God looks at you different depending on what clothes you're wearing. I mean, anybody that tells you that and you actually put in it right, you're saying religious people. There's a difference between a religious people and a Christ follower. Okay?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, a Christ follower is somebody that is going to do what Christ did, or one is going to try to mimic what Christ did. So Jesus Christ, if you read the Bible and if you are knowledgeable of the Bible, it says he loved everybody. He will go and hang out with the people that was drinking. He will go and hang out with, it didn't matter who, he will go and hang out with them. There's a problem with what I call American Christianity, because American Christianity has pushed itself so far away from the true religion that that's why we, uh, I don't know how to put it on the right words. American Christianity has pulled itself away from true religion because we feel like we are better and don't want to mimic what Christ. We only grab little scriptures here and there to make it fit to our life instead of making our life fit to what the Bible really says. Uh, so I don't feel any disconnect when I'm doing that. I believe God loves me. I believe God gave his life for me to enjoy my life and to live my life, not to be to have a life of suffering. So anybody that stops doing what they love because the Bible or the religion tells them to, is not really doing what Christ wanted us to do. You know, he gave his life so that we have an abundant life, not so that we have just a little bit of happiness in your life. You know what I mean? So I don't believe that I feel like a disconnect from God. I think I can worship God the same way because you're supposed to worship God every day, not just on Sunday mornings. So every day that you live your life to the best, you're actually worshiping God. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I wonder though. So, you are American and you live in America, and the American Christianity values. I mean, clearly, with that one pastor who said, "Well, if you believe in Joe Biden, get the hell out of here." There's nowhere in the Bible does it talk about Democrats versus Republicans. So it's kind of
Exactly.
crazy that like a pastor would even say that to you. So it's like,
And
what?
he didn't feel bad about it. I mean, he said it from the pulpit to everybody, and I was like, whoa, buddy, we have a lot of Democrats in here. Well, not anymore, but they did. They did.
Right, right, right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just the way people think. You know, it's people makes it about themselves instead of making it about God. So that's the problem that I see with it, and that's one of the reasons why as of right now, I don't feel comfortable going back and putting myself in chains again when I've been free from it. You know, it's so I'm still in the process of trying to figure out what I want to do as far as that goes. I didn't stop believing in God just because I stopped going to church. You know, it's more of a relationship that you have when you believe on something. You know, it's a relationship. It's not just being there on a Sunday. You know, one of the things that I will always tell people is coming and sitting on a pew makes you as much of a car as you going and sitting in your garage. You know, sitting at if you come and sit at the church, it doesn't make you a Christian. You're just attending something. Just like you go and sit in your garage, it's not going to make you a car. You're just there. So, American Christianity, brother, there's a lot of problems with
Yeah,
it.
I totally hear that and hear it in your voice. And is it because you're not going to church, and not, I mean, even us, Kirsten and I, we're Catholic, and it's hard going to church, especially with COVID. I mean, things are opening up, but there have been like 10 or 15 deaths with people who not have gone to church, but like we've known who are older and then died at church. And we're like, well, we don't want to risk death, you know? So there's that fear. And it's harder to be, I think, especially during COVID, to be a religious person, right? Um,
Yes.
it's one of the hardest things the past year and almost year and a half. Just been, especially we were constantly going like on a weekly basis, and now it's just been harder to be that. So I'm sure you've had that experience clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I say, I'm actually enjoying it. Honestly, I'm enjoying not being there because every Sunday I will go there. It felt like I was getting my life taken away instead of giving me more. So it's just a lot of times it's not that you're not really become you don't want you don't. It's not that you're not the kind of person that can become a Christian. It's just that you haven't found the right place for you. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's it's tough.
No, you're telling us. But with more cross dressing though, even when you were going to like, is there pastoral school or whatnot, and you knew about the cross dressing, did you just always put that in the back of your mind and like think that, oh well, God loves me anyways, and I'm still gonna preach? Like I don't think you're a person who would preach anti LGBTQ. You wouldn't be a hypocrite, right? You're not that kind of pastor.
That is correct. And that's why I will have a lot of people comment because I will always preach you gotta love everybody. I mean, it's simple as that. You gotta love your gay brother. You gotta love your lesbian sister. You gotta love your black brother. You gotta love your Hispanic brother, your Filipino brother. You gotta love everybody, whether you agree with the way they live their life or not. You gotta love everybody. You know, the Bible says you gotta love everybody. So it's no, I never preach against gay people. I never preach. I will always be very controversial with my Facebook posts all the time. You know, I will post things of like I seen a kid one time on Facebook, a video on Facebook where people were bullying him because he painted his nails. He liked to paint his nails. So I posted something about it. People from my church was like, well, you know, this is wrong. I said, no, this is toxic masculinity. Well, no, it's not, you know. And then we got into a big debate about it. I was like, you know what? And this is another pastor from the same church that we got into a big debate. I was like, you know what? Let's move it off Facebook. You want to have a talk with me? We can have an actual face-to-face conversation, and we can educate each other. You know, and but no, I never preach anything. I don't believe that they should anything should be preached against LGBTQ or nothing. I mean, it's just like I said earlier. Jesus Christ, he hang out with the sinners. And what is a sinner? Everybody can be considered a sinner. If you eat a lot and you read the Bible, it says gluttony is a sin. So how does being gluttony an okay sin and being gay, according to your beliefs, I'm talking about the Christian people, is a worse sin than eating a lot of food? You know, sin is sin. And if you're gonna categorize being gay or being a cross-dresser as sin, then go ahead and start criticizing the people that eat a lot of food. Go ahead and start criticizing the people that watches a lot of TV, because believe it or not, there's actually some religions that tell you that watching TV is a sin. So we turn back around and go back to the problem with American Christianity. They make the descriptions fit whatever their lifestyle is, instead of adjusting their lifestyle to what the Bible actually says.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the fact that you told me you're a pastor, I was like, oh my God, yes, because my favorite people are pastors because they love to talk. Right?
yeah,
They're the ones who want to preach, right? Your
yes,
single role in life after becoming a pastor is preaching the word of God, right? And preaching these like hopefully great values. And I think the preachers or the pastors who do preach the kind of anti-LGBTQ hate are the kind of pastors that like, are the ones that are shown on TV, I guess. Maybe not on TV, not the ones that are publicized, but it's like the pastors like yourself who are in the LGBTQ spectrum, right? In that scatter plot and are trying to promote, I believe, and I think you believe, good values of the word of God. That, if you're not religious, you just think, oh, well, there's no such thing as a God. And it's like, okay, that's fine. You can think that way. But like, if you are religious and you're looking for answers and you hear podcast or, that Deuteronomy 22, that verse, and you just think like, well, I'm going to interpret it this way. And another person interprets the other way. But a pastor is telling you, no, this is how you're supposed to think. And you're like, well, am I? You're like, really? So I don't know.
well, going back to that scripture where it says that a man shall not wear anything that pertains to a woman. If you actually go back and do some research into it, that was written down when in time of war, and the man was the one that will go to war. So the man had to dress up to go to war, to go fight for your people. The woman was meant to stay at home. At that time, there were some females that they wanted to go and get involved with the fighting. So they will dress up in the armor and they will go to fight. And then that's when they were like, whoa, you can't be doing that. You're a female. You can't be fighting for us. So that description is actually related to that section in time where women wanted to be warriors and they will dress up to go to war. And the Bible didn't, the people in leadership didn't see it right. So that's where the description came from, where it says a woman shall not wear anything that pertains to a man, just like a man shall not wear anything that pertains to a woman. So basically, if there was some people that didn't want to go to work, some men, they would just dress up as females so that they didn't have to go to work. Have you ever heard that about that? If Google is always your friend. There's a lot of research about that. That was the reason why that scripture came down, because the men didn't want to go fight. So they will dress up as females to hide. Because all of this back and forth as far as who dresses what or who has sex with what, all of this didn't become anything out in the open until the 1900s. There wasn't even a definition for homosexuality until like 1928, 1930. So it's just society is the one that's, according to times are always changing. So society came up with a word for homosexuality. But back in the Roman Empire, homosexuality was perfectly fine. There's not really a lot in the Bible that says that homosexuality was a bad thing.
Right. Right.
So it's just religion is making it a bad thing. God is not. The interpretation that man is putting to the Bible is making it a bad thing.
Yeah, and it's hard if you are religious and you're looking for answers, and there's so many different interpretations of it. It's kind of like we should just interpret it the way that, I mean, we ask other people for interpretations. That's why we go to church, and that's why we go to other people and say, hey, what do you think about this? And we can't have civil discussions. I mean, I still think, yeah, there's no such thing as anti-LGBTQ, writings in the Bible. It's just, this is how it's interpreted. And if you read about, or like how you understand it at the time this was written, this is what it was about. It doesn't necessarily apply today, but that's how it should be. I don't know. It's so weird.
Well, that's just it. A lot of the things that are in the Bible definitely did not apply for today's life. And that's just, you got to take into consideration on which time those verses came down. When were those verses written down? Then go and look in a time frame of what was going on at that time, so that you can get your definition of why the Bible says that. So,
yeah.
I mean, even we as people that go to church, we know that the book of Acts was never finished. So we are today living in the book of Acts. So who is to tell us that 1,000 years from now, there's not going to be 2 or 3 more chapters on the book of Acts that explains what's going on today? So,
yeah, maybe you'll have your own chapter, Bella. In
who knows? I mean, I believe every single one of us has our own chapter, though. We are all making our life, and like I say, whether you believe in Christ or not, you just make your life and follow it.
Yes. I love having pastors on here. This is great. It's like, oh, you didn't go to church today? Well, here's an episode of the CrossYaas Podcast with Bella, the pastor. I mean, it's so nice to have someone. I mean, we're not a religious podcast, but you can't argue that religion doesn't play a role, especially in your cross-dressing, because you're always going to look for answers. And I think religion is one place that the majority of the United States looks for answers. And you're right. I think American Christianity, which there's a huge population in the United States that believe in religion. And when we look for answers, and as a crossdresser or a trans person, somebody tells you at church, well, you're wrong in the eyes of God. Like, wait, you're like, that's the disconnect. You're like, but I thought God said they loved me. Like, Jesus said they
Hmm.
love you. Like, I'm confused, you know?
Exactly.
It's confusing, and I'm so glad. But I'm still interested in the fact that you are gender fluid, and like, how is that interpreted, in your opinion, in the Bible? Is it just you're just a person and you're loved? Like, what are we
Yeah,
supposed to do? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, you're just a person. I mean, back in the Roman Empire, sex was allowed between a man and a woman, and that was okay. Sex was also allowed between a man and a younger man, up to 20-year-old, and that was okay. Did you know that?
I did
That
not know
wasn't
that. I did not know that.
that wasn't looked bad. Sex was allowed between a man and a slave, and that was perfectly okay. Nobody bat an eye at it.
Mm.
And once again, you go back and look at what when the scripture was written, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, all of these things was going on. That's why I always make fun of when American Christians or religious people post things on Facebook about, oh, you can't have two men marrying each other because that's not biblical. There's a picture floating around on Facebook that says biblical marriage, and it's a man and a woman between a man and a slave, a man and 50 women if he wanted to, a man and all the slaves that he owed, uh, that he owned, I'm sorry, a man and the deceased brother's wife, he can marry her. That's biblical. So when people say, oh, that's not biblical, well, actually, there's like 10, 15 different kind of biblical marriages that are on the Bible, and they were okay. So don't come at me with your a man and a man is not biblical at all. So,
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you, Bella. Of course, I don't know if you want to delve into this. Have you had sexual interactions or sexual explorations with the other sex, or with trans people, or things outside of the norm of a heterosexual relationship?
well, it's one of them things where I probably should be quiet about it. No,
Nah, we love it. This is all you, girl, all you. How do you feel? What do you want to talk? What you're available or free to talk about? It's up to you.
I'm pretty much an open book, except with my wife. No,
Yes.
uh, I have tried. I had tried stuff before, yes. And I didn't see, not really something I'm attracted to, I
Hmm.
guess.
Hmm.
But I have explored. One time unwillingly explored as far as we were out having a drink and got too drunk and woke up and a dude was down on me. He's like, whoa, what's going on?
Yes, yes. Were you dressed, or this was like, when was this? I'm always interested. When?
No,
How old were you? When
no,
was it?
it was just us being, went out for a party, went to a strip club before I got involved with church kind of thing. And like I say, went out with a few friends and we got too wasted and high and uh, it was really late. So I decided to spend the night at this dude's friend that we were drinking with. And like I say, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, whoa, what are you doing, dude? And he's like, no,
Yes.
just be quiet. And I'm like, shit, okay, I guess. I'll be quiet. Keep going. It felt good, so I was like, keep going.
Yes. Yes. As this is like a interesting question, because like we might even have pastors or other religious like beings listening to this, and they're, in my opinion, religious people are some of the most repressed and most, sexually repressed people. And when they are able to do that, they go crazy in a sense that, like, oh, I'm a sinner, I'm a huge sinner, I've messed up in the eyes of God, and like you said, we're all sinners. Like, did you feel wrong at all at the time you did it, or were you like, "Yay, I'm me"?
No, I don't think I felt wrong about it. I mean, like I said, I wasn't really in church at the time, and I don't. I mean, even if I was in church, I don't think I would feel wrong about it. I mean, I was single, ready to mingle, so no, I didn't feel wrong about it. It's just exploring, it's just things happen, and I actually do remember now that you mentioned that. After he got done, I actually do remember asking him if he could go to his room and get some of his sister's clothes so that I can put him on. But it didn't happen. But that's funny because things just came back to my mind now.
Wow. So even then you knew you wanted to cross dress or experience it as.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I do remember that now that it's just one of the things that just comes back to your mind.
That's why it's fun to reminisce, right? Because you're like, oh yeah, what did I do then? Oh yeah. And you look back on those points in your life and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Do you see yourself ever doing it as full time, being like Bella, or is it just like, no, I like being my male self sometimes and whatnot?
I don't know actually. I mean, I love being my male self. I got no problems with me. I mean, I'm happy. I think, like I said before, I would like to have the option to just do it whenever I felt like it. Um, I would like to have the option to get away for a couple days and just be Bella for the day and be all loud, and you know that would be nice. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, I'm happy with myself.
And I mean, obviously this is a question that everybody gets asked. Is it a fetish for you being Vela or cross dressing, or like, do you have fetishes dressed up?
I think it started as a fetish, but I don't know if it did because I mean I was like 5, 6 years old when I started, so I don't know how I could have a fetish back then. You know what I'm saying? I think the um, the taboo of it makes people believe it's a fetish. So when
Hmm.
you're 5, 6 years old, how can you think something is a fetish when you don't really understand it?
Right, right.
So I'm thinking after me growing up and seeing things about people don't look at it the right way, I was like, well, maybe it's a fetish for me. But in reality, I don't think it is. I mean, maybe when you start on your 20s, 30s, maybe that's possible that it's just a fetish for you. But people that start young, I don't see how it could be a fetish. It's just who you are. It's part of your life. So no, I guess to answer your question, I'm sorry. It's not. No, it's not a fetish.
I love it. I told you pastors will talk. They'll tell me the history of Roman empires. I'm like, yes. It's because I think pastors do their research, right? Especially if they read the Bible a lot, because they have to be able to convey the information or interpret the information that's written in the Bible, and then be able to say, okay, well, if somebody asks me this question, okay, well, how will I answer it, right? I feel like you and most pastors I know are ready to talk.
That can be a benefit sometimes and not so much others. So
Well,
yeah,
well, it's perfect for a podcast because I think most basically every pastor every week, every Sunday has a podcast episode, right? They just do it
yeah,
live in front of
that
people,
is, that is
pre-COVID,
true.
but there's like, hey, I read a book today. Let me tell you what I read, and then people listen.
Yeah, that is true. That is
Um,
true.
and this is the episode today with you, Bella, who you're basically coming out as a crossdresser and telling us. So the Bible says this, like you're giving us your explanation about how the Bible interprets it. And I'm glad because there's not a lot of pastors who are crossdressers who will talk about their lived
That you
experiences,
know
even,
of.
yeah, yeah,
That you know of.
right, right, or is willing
I
to talk about it,
I
right?
know. Let me tell you something. I know in my wife's family, there is her family sold pastors. That's how I became a pastor because got involved with her family kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But she has some family members that They're not out of the closet, but you can tell right away they are. So, and that's the sad thing about being involved with church, because they're not allowed to live free. You know, some of these people got married and they have kids now, and they're just, I don't know. I mean, maybe they're doing the same thing I'm doing. They just know what
Yeah.
they just do in private too, I guess. I don't know. But you can tell. We can kind of understand each other in a way, just like, yeah, I know what you are.
Yeah. Yeah. You look at each other and just wink. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, just like, yeah, I know what you're going through, kind of thing.
And so how do you, as a pastor, if I'm a cross dresser and I don't know, what to do with it, or, I'm trans and I'm trans questioning and I'm thinking about transitioning, being on hormones, like how do you approach a person who comes to you and says like, Bella, I need help. What do I do?
You approach them with love, first of all, and you let them know that you support them on whatever their journey might be. And I'm telling you this because I actually just went through this with my niece. Uh, Last year, she came out as a trans, and my sister didn't really approve of it. So my sister basically called me asking me for direction, and I'm like, whoa, like this is like the wrong subject. I cannot help you with this kind of thing. I just told her, I said, listen, you gotta love her. Well, it's not a her, she told me, it's a him. I said, no, she said she's trans. Just you gotta accept her however she wants to be. Oh no, I can't do that. The Bible says this and that. I said, no, the Bible doesn't say that. And I tried to throw some research her way, and she will not accept it. And to the point where she told my niece, it's like when you telling me this, it's like you're telling me that you have cancer. I'm like, whoa, dude, you can't be doing that. So I reached out to my niece and I told her, I said, listen, just want you to know that I love you. Just want you to know that I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here to support you. I just want you to know that not all your family is the way your mother is. And please let me know how I can help you. And that's the way everybody, not just pastors, but everybody should reach out when anybody comes out. Just say, I'm here. Sometimes they just need somebody to listen to. And that's what I explained my sister. I told her, I said, do you want to have a daughter? Or I said, will you prefer to have another daughter, or will you prefer to have a dead son?
Mm.
I mean, I said, when people don't find support, they feel, when people feels like they're alone and people don't understand them, that's what they go through. They find ways, or they don't find the strength, because when they first come out, they don't have this strength. They need people to help them. Me being a pastor or ex-pastor, whatever you want to call it, there's a section of the Bible where Moses when he had to part the sea, and the Bible says that he raised his hands so that the sea will part open so the Israelites can get out of Egypt. What a lot of people don't understand is that there was two people holding his arms up. Did you know that? There was people holding his arms up so that the sea can be parted. It's the same thing with us. When we are going out and things are happening in our life, we a lot of times need people to support us. We need those people to hold our arms up, especially when it's something new to them too. It's so I say just reach out with love. Let them know that you love them and you're there to support them, whatever it is, even if it's just to listen to them, because that's what most people want. Sometimes just listen. Somebody that will listen and just accept them for who they are. So I don't know. You gave me an idea. I might have to start a church with those beliefs.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Where's the collection basket? I would like to donate money to this church. My gosh. Oh my gosh. Like those are all the words that as a opening or learning crossdresser as a young one, maybe even as an older person who doesn't know these feelings, like I just need to be heard and be accepted and be told that it's going to be okay. Because that's sometimes all it needs is I need to be told I'm going to be fine. Because if, like you said, and these pastors, like your previous one, who was saying, "Oh, if you don't believe in Joe Biden, or if you believe in Joe Biden, you're get out of this church." Like, huh? Well, I have that's it. I have news news for you. I'm a crossdresser. Like, like you don't even accept Joe Biden. Well, shit. Where does that leave me? Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like this. Oh, man, that's such great advice. And is your niece okay now that she came out to you? Was everything turned out okay with her?
Oh, she came out to everybody. I mean, she's out in the open, and I love it. I'm living my life through her. She's the one that gave me courage. She doesn't know what I do, but I'm gonna tell her I'm gonna go see her on the 25th of June. Going out
Yes.
going out for her birthday, and I'm gonna I'm gonna open up to her and tell her what's going on with my life too. And I kind of already threw hints at her, but she hasn't got it yet. I told her like, yeah, I don't know why your mother doesn't understand this when my mom went through this too, and so it's like she didn't ask. How come grandma went through this? Because my mom knows.
Oh, your mom knows. What was that
Oh,
like?
oh, she loved me. She just said, hey, whatever. I got found out when I was, like I say, 5, 6 years old. I would
Mm-hmm.
run up to my sister's room and try
Mm-hmm.
on underwear, dresses, whatever it was. And one time I actually got cut by my older brother and my older sister, and they freaking picked me up and took me to my dad. Hey, he's wearing such and such underwear. He's like, oh well, whatever. Don't do that anymore.
Okay.
My parents were very accepting. They, whatever. My
Yeah.
mom has seen me dress up a couple times, and she just laughed about it, like, "Yeah, you look cute."
Yeah. Well, also, like I was gonna ask, how was your upbringing? If you are like this, that must mean your upbringing was accepting, or even just apathetic because they're like, whatever, fellas, whatever.
Yeah, no, I was actually born and raised in Mexico, uh, where over there being gay is frowned upon kind of thing, and so that's things that you don't talk about. I was one of them kids that will make fun of gay people. Honestly, like you're all just joking about around, and it's like whoa. But at home, my parents always told me, hey, you gotta love everybody regardless. And I was like, man, that makes sense. Maybe I should love everybody. So I remember going to high school, and that's when I kind of stopped joining those little groups of people that, ha ha ha, look at such and such. It's like, whatever. Come on, guys, grow up. Grow up a little bit. So, but no,
Mm-hmm.
you just kind of got to love everybody. Everybody's different, and it's okay to be different. As a matter of fact, I have two cousins from all of them from my mom's side of the family, two different aunts, and they came out as gay just 2, 3 years ago. And hey, I love you guys. Whatever, cool. So yeah, you just gotta love everybody. That's the main thing. That's the main commandment, I believe. You gotta love everybody. Because if you don't love everybody, that's when problems begin to happen. So, but no, I was raised to just accept everybody how they are.
Yes, I mean that's all you can do. Is you may not like something about a person, and although it depends though, because what if there's hateful things, Bella? How do you deal with people who are hateful? Because you're supposed to love them, right? You're supposed to love these people. God says love them, but what if they're, you know, how do you? I guess you can't change their minds, but how do you deal with that person who like hates that you're a crossdresser, Bella? They hate that you're gay, you're lesbian. How do you deal with that person?
You still gotta love the person. I know it sounds weird, but you still gotta love the person. Love the person, just don't love their sin. You still gotta love them. It's,
Mm,
you hate me for what I do? Okay, go have anger. I don't care. I'm still gonna be happy with what I do. Don't
mm,
give it the power because when you when somebody hates what you do and you be like, oh man, I can't believe such and such doesn't like me. You are giving them the power over your life. So don't give it the power over it. Just live your life however you feel like living it. And don't give them the power. Because when their actions don't affect your life, they don't have any power over you. So you still gotta
Yeah,
love the person. They say just don't love what they do. That's simple.
yeah. Oh, Bella, it's hard though. It's quite hard.
Oh, it is. Yes, it is.
uh, I know. I mean, I love you, Bella. I can't even tell you how much I love the fact that you are a pastor, that you are a crossdresser, that you are opening up about everything. Like, this is fantastic. um, and it seems like, did you have struggles, Bella? I mean, geez, it seems like your life has been perfect. What is there any
I
problems
have
in your life?
I have struggles, like I say, with just the fact that I don't feel like I can be fully authentic until my wife goes, you know, is okay with it. Out of respect for her person is the reason why I cannot be fully authentic yet. But we're
Mm,
working on it. We are working on it. I mean, we're going from, I can't believe you're doing this. I don't want to not see none of this, blah, 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 to hey, let's go to Victoria's Secret today. Oh, look, you want this? He's like, yeah, I want that. So to where we gotta specify who's the stuff is for. Like, I'm buying this for you, and I have to be like for me, or for me to enjoy it on you, kind of thing. So I mean, it's little steps, but we're getting there. We're working on
yes, yes. And what is your style like, Bella? What do you like to wear? What does Bella, what's her style?
it. I don't know. I'm thrifty. I'm thrifty. I don't know. I can be a little bit holy. I like high heels, very high. I like short skirts, very short. I mean, I can go. I can be like a mid 20s in the club kind of girl. So, but I like anything. I mean, I don't know. I love sporty stuff too. Like I say, I wear leggings every day at home. I like to be comfortable. But if I'm And I like nice, fancy looking dresses, like prom kind of dresses. So I have all kinds of crazy styles.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And did you, maybe this is like, whatever question, but how do you feel about passing? Or do you feel you pass and do you think it's important?
Uh, if you're out in public, I think it will be nice to pass. I don't think it's important because once you're out in public, who cares? If you're not out in public,
Hmm.
I mean, if you're not open to a lot of people, then yeah, you want to pass because you don't want to be found out. You don't want people to click you. But if you're out in the open
Hmm.
already to everybody, just be yourself. You don't have to pass to enjoy your life, you know.
Hmm.
But to me, since I'm not out in the open, yes, I like to pass because I don't want people to find out, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but
But
once
if
I'm
if you
out in
don't
the
think anyone
open,
cares though, then why do you need to pass?
I I need to pass. Like I said, a lot of the things that I do is to make sure that I protect my wife. I don't wanna I don't wanna push my boundaries. So no, in a way, I don't care. Like I say, because I go to the store and I buy dresses, whatever I feel like it. And I mean, I even go to the dressing room and try them on. I don't care, even if I'm in guy mode. Who cares? I'm always in guy mode, kind of thing.
Mm,
So, but I mean, no, I don't care about passing, and I don't care about what people think. I just like I say, gotta be careful around my wife, kind of thing. Just gotta make sure that she's still comfortable and don't feel like she's getting pushed into doing more than what she's okay with. just out of respect for her. That's the main thing. But
Mm.
I mean, if you're out in the open and your wife is okay with you being out in the open, and I don't think you need to pass. Who cares? Be you. Be yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And do you have support out there other than your wife for like cross dressing? Do you have like other cross dressers or trans people you can talk to, Bella, or is it just like mostly the people on our Discord?
It's the people on your Discord for now. For now, nobody really knows around my circle besides my wife and one of her friends. And he found out by accident. I was
Ooh, what
out.
happened?
I
Oh,
was out of town one time. I do a lot of work down in Nashville, and I was out of town. And my wife likes to go work out. And whenever I'm in town, we like to go to the Y and work out. And we have friends that go over there too. And one day they were walking around, and one of her friends, they always will hang out and talk and whatever while walking. And he noticed that my wife wasn't doing too good. And this is after we had like a little argument about it. This is about 3 4 years
mm,
ago.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, he said something about what's going on kind of thing, and it's just like nothing. And well, this is the version that I got from her. So I'm gonna believe that she told me what happened. And I was like, she said nothing, and he's like, "Are you sad because Juan is not here?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's just getting kind of hard." And then he started asking more questions, kind of like just, attentively trying to figure out what's going on. And she says something about, well, it's just kind of hard for him not being here, and I don't know how it things that he likes to do or something like that. So the friend is like, well, what do you mean? And the friend, he's very open minded. I have to put that out there. He's very open minded. So he was like, what do you mean? He just gets crazy in bed or something like that? And she's like, no, not like that or something like that. And I don't know where she said that he just guessed. He's like, does he like to cross dress? And I guess she just got quiet. And he's like, oh, you ain't gotta be shy about that. That's what he told her. Don't you ain't gotta be shy about it. Just people does that kind of thing. And then I guess he told her that he had a friend that cross dressed too. And he's like, one day I went to his apartment and he was all dressed up. So I just sit there and hang out with him. Who cares? So he doesn't know that I know that he knows because we just never really spoke. We just never spoke about it. I mean, we went and worked out together after that, for a long time. We would always hang out twice a week and just work out and do guy things. He never brought it up and I never did either.
There you go.
But he's the only person that knows about it. He did suggest my wife, she's like, well, if she wants to be more out in the open, you guys just might have to move somewhere more accepting, because in the Midwest, it's just people frowns upon it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, which is kind of weird because my workplace, where I work most of the time, is actually considered the gay capital of the U.S.
Oh, where is that?
It's
I have to know. Where is that?
it's a town called. Well, maybe I shouldn't tell you.
It's fine. Nobody listens to this. It's fine.
It's a little town called Galena, Illinois.
Oh, a little town in Illinois. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little town in Illinois, and they have more gay per capita in the whole USA. Most of the people here are gay.
Nice. Nice. Is that why you chose to live there, Bella?
No, I actually don't live here. I just work here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So no, this is where I do most of my work. They have a lot of money, so
That's good.
so,
That's good.
so that's where I come here for the pay.
I mean, that's fine. Are you nervous about people finding out where you are or who you are, Bella? Are you still nervous?
A little bit, but I mean, like I say, I'm nervous for my wife. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I just don't want to put her on a bad position. I don't want her to feel like she got pushed into being out in the open with me. That's the main thing.
Yeah, but I always like make the like analogy. Well, like if she didn't want to be with you, she could have left you, or no matter, right? Like
Correct.
it if she didn't love you as you are, and you've helped her express who she is, it's like, it's a compromise, and it's like marriage. You just have to make it work if you want to. Like she could leave, she could go, and if she's still with you, then there's something you're doing right, right? So if someone found out and learned about you, and someone did, and it turned out okay, imagine what more people who found out and they would be okay with, right? Like there's always this stigma that comes with being a wife or a girlfriend or significant other of a crossdresser. But like, I'd ask you, what do you think it would take for your wife to be okay with it?
I don't know yet. Like I say, it's something that we're still working on. I did tell her that I want a hercation, that's what I call it. And a hercation is basically me going away for a couple days and just being Bella. And I told her, I said, you're welcome to come or you can stay home. But Bella's going on a hercation. So we're still trying to figure out about that. Because, with 4 kids, we gotta get grandma to babysit and things like that. So she said, well, let's just let me think about it when it will work best. So she didn't say no. She just said, let me think about it when it will work best. And basically, the only reason she will be okay with it is because it will be away from our main circle. So we can go. I think that's the easiest way for me to get her to explore this side of me, and then that should make it easier for her to understand that, hey, it's just me. Because at first she was very apprehensive, even just looking at me on a dress or something like that. And now it's like whenever she knows that I give really good massages when I'm dressed up, that's my specialty. So she'll be like, hey, you want to go put a dress on? I need a massage. I'm like, okay, sure.
The
Uh,
contingency, yeah.
yeah, I'm always game for it. She knows Bella gives really good massages. So she'll be like, man, I've been missing Bella lately. I'm like, okay. That usually leads to other things, and I'm not going to complain. I mean, I'm a guy after all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? Though, but it seems like you're not willing to be, because sometimes it takes the first step, or the pioneer person in your friend group, or in the your city or your town. Apparently, it's a gay town near you, so that's good. But you don't want to be the first person because you don't know what the ramifications are of coming out, right? I think that's what we're getting at, Bella. That you don't want to be that person.
Uh, yes and no. Like I said, I honestly don't care about my ramifications on me because I know what I do for work, and I know I'm good at it. So I don't have any concerns about that. And as of right now, like I say, I don't know where I stand as far as the church, so that's not even a concern anymore either. But it's just making sure that she's comfortable. I can care less if people knows I cross dress. You know, I honestly can care less. You don't like me, move on. You like me, hey, you get to meet her sometime. But it's just more for her, making sure that she's comfortable. I don't want her to be put in an awkward position because she tells me, and she hasn't lately, but I know at the beginning she used to tell me, I just, whenever you dress up, it makes me feel like you don't think I'm good enough for you. So I had to explain to her, hey, this has nothing to do with you being good enough for me or not. This is just something that needs to come out once in a while. This is just who I am. It's not
Yeah,
something I can just pack away and put in the closet and never see it again. She's here to stay.
right.
And the reason I came up with that is because back in 2018, up until 2018, it was something that we just never discussed, really. It was, I keep my stuff in a little box, and we don't, maybe 2017, and we don't discuss it. I get to run away, go upstairs, and try something on real quick, and come back downstairs like nothing ever happened, and we just never discuss it. But it got to be very difficult, um, to the point where I was actually contemplating suicide because I felt like I couldn't be authentic to myself.
Hmm.
Uh, I I keep having these thoughts because I drive to work 1 hour, and I keep having these thoughts of how can I make it look like an accident, you know, on the way home every day. Like I need to make it look like it was an accident. I need to make it look like it was an accident, and this and that. And finally one day I was like, you know what? I can't keep thinking like this. This is unhealthy for me. And I was like, why will I leave my kids without their father? And I called the suicide line because I was really, really ready to kill myself. And I called the suicide line and I explained to the girl what was going on. And she was like, well, why don't you just talk to your wife and explain what's going on with you? You're making assumptions, and you just assume she's gonna leave you, this and that. And she's like, just talk to her. And if she doesn't like it and she wants to leave, then you know what? There's more freedom for you to do what you feel like you need to do, and there's things will fall in place. And she gave me her personal number. She's like, this is my number. You call me whenever you need to. So I called her a couple times, and I was like, I haven't talked to her yet, and she's like, well, you need to talk to her, blah, blah, blah. And then uh, one time she called me back and she was like, have you talked to your wife? I said, no. She's like, tomorrow could be too late. And I was like, wow. I didn't think about it that way. So
Wow.
I went and I told the wife, I was like, listen, I know you know about this. This is what I do. I can't keep hiding it anymore. I need to have more freedoms. I need you to be part of it. And this is when I was traveling back and forth to Tennessee. So I said, I'm going to Tennessee and I'm gonna take some stuff with me. And I'm gonna try some stuff. And when I come back, you can make up your mind, think about it, what you want to do. So I left, I went to Tennessee, and actually, when I left Tennessee back home, I dressed up fully. And I drove that 10-hour drive home, fully dressed. I stopped at a few stores, which was fine. Got to experience Bella for the first time. And I found out it was great. People didn't bat an eye at it. I went to Victoria's Secret and close to our town. And I went and picked up stuff, and I went into the dressing room and tried them on, and nobody bat an eye. I came home and I showed her pictures. I had to, of course, clean up, before I walk into the house kind of thing. So I went into a public bathroom and cleaned up and went back into guy mode. And I showed her pictures, and she got a little bit upset about it. And she was like, wow, I can't believe you did this out in public. I'm like, this is who I am, and I need to start working on this. And she said, well, I can give you the freedom. This is her word. She's like, I can give you the freedom to do it at home as much as you want. And then she stopped herself and she's like, well, I'm not really giving you the freedom. I'm just letting you know that I'm okay with it. To do it as much as you want at home. I'm just not ready for you to do it out in public yet. I'm like, well, it was kind of one of them kind of things where don't tell kind of thing. I was like, okay, well, I'm letting you know that I might do it again. I just won't tell you. She's like, okay. And after that, we started being more open about Bella. And it's just, like I say, we go to the store together. I have a big dressing room. A big dresser that sits in our bedroom, and it's full of Bella's clothes. That's all Bella. I have a lot of clothes.
You always do. All the pastors do. Yeah, all the cross-dressing pastors do.
Like I said, I have a full closet basically full of stuff. Probably 20, 30 pairs of shoes. I have a lot of stuff. So it's just out in the open. My kids walk in our bedroom and they see it. They never question anything. I mean, I think my older son knows because he's like, whoa, why is there a size 12 high heel over here? But
Yeah.
he has never said anything. And like I said, I wear leggings at home. I wear feminine stuff and they don't bat an eye at it. It's just at home.
Mm, hmm So, I'm going to ask though, at what point, I mean, you guys you're trying and balancing, and this was 3 or 4 years ago when you really decided to go harder with Bella, right? You said 2017,
Yes.
2018.
Yeah.
Um, my only potential, like, and you probably see it too, is this, like, it's not truly a purge by like putting her away, right? Where you're like, oh well, I'm just gonna put Bella over here. I'm just gonna put Bella over here, and I'm only gonna allow her to be at the home. But there is a part of you that clearly wants to be more, um, not basically less restricted with your ability to be Bella. For myself, like Giselle is always gonna come out whenever she wants to come out. Like, oh, I want to come out today, or because that's me, gender fluid, gender queer, whatever. I like to dress up as Giselle sometimes. But if you told me, just like as if the church says you can't do this, you're gonna be like, well, I'm gonna do it, right? It's like she's setting, not that you two have got talking things out, and she'll be ready whenever she's ready. It's just this, um, when there's a restriction placed on the freedom to be a gender or yourself, that's very hard. I think is that what I'm getting at, Bella?
Yes. Yes. When there's restrictions, it's always, and not just that it's hard, but when somebody tells you you can't do something, is when you want to do it even more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I told her before. I said, listen, if I was out in the open, there might be a month that goes by that I don't want to do anything. It's just because I can't do it that I want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. I'm like, I'm just telling you, hey, we need to kind of move along with this. And it's just in this last year, like I say, it's been more me, not necessarily bugging her about it, but just me being more upfront about it. It's like, hey, listen, I need to do this. I need to do this kind of thing. And I told her we went to a store. It's called Marshall's. And we went in there and I grabbed a couple of skirts and I took them straight to the dressing room with her. That was the first time I did that. With her there with me. It's like, I don't care. I'm trying this on. You know, and it's close by, where somebody that we know could have seen us. So it's just little things here and there kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get back to your question, is like, how far can I let it go kind of thing? Like, I honestly don't know because, yeah, Bella is not something that you can just put away. Bella is not going away anymore. Bella's here and Bella's here to stay.
Yes, yes. And I don't like ruining relationships or marriages. I just it's just when you're not able to be your true authentic self, that comes across in marriages, and that comes across as, you know, uh resentment towards one another. Like, you wouldn't let me be this person, and the other person's like, well, you didn't tell me, and you're just like fighting about it. And it's like, how about you just let that person be that person? And
She
talk things out, and you know compromise. I mean, obviously there's going to be issues, and you didn't know a lot of things early, but now you do. And how do we react to this? How do we move forward? And a lot of people don't want to move forward. They want to stay where they are, or not change, or not go with it. I don't know. It's the failure to adapt that makes it, marriages or anything, way harder than it has to be, right?
she has actually mentioned that. She asked me before. She's like, I just feel bad. I feel like I need to let you go because I don't want you to resent me for not being okay with this out in public. And she has asked me that a couple times before. It's like, are you sure you don't want to just leave me? And I told her, I said, we're stuck with each other, whether we like it or not. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
believe in once you get married, you're married. You gotta deal with the good and the bad. And as far as the compromise part, yes, me right now, I'm compromising with doing it at home. I get to do it as often as I want. I don't have
right,
to ask
right.
for permission. I don't have to nothing. I just feel like doing it. Like the other day, the kids were downstairs, and I told her, I said, "Hey, I'm going upstairs to the bedroom to do what," and she's like, "Okay." And I went upstairs, and my 8-year-old was like, "Hey, Dad, can you do this?" And she was like, "No, your dad gotta go. He's got some private things to do." Okay, and it's just like whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
but that's the beauty of a marriage, and you're about to find out. Once you get kids involved in your life, you do a lot of things for them and not necessarily for you.
Right.
So uh, she also knows, though, ever since she gave me this more, I've been having more freedoms of it, even if it's just in the house. There are significantly more freedoms. She knows that I'm a better and happier person, and she has told me that before. She's like, you're a lot better person now than you were before. I'm like, well, can you imagine how good I would be if I was out completely up there? Then she's like, don't push your luck. But it's I feel that once I bring it out to my niece at the end of the month, and once she gets to see my niece again as herself, she knows I don't want to transition or anything like that. I'm happy being a guy. I'm hoping that she understands more of this lifestyle in a way. So hopefully within the next couple months I'll be out taking a nice trip, Bella mode.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and if Father's Day is coming up, happy Father's Day, Bella. You have four wonderful
Hey,
boys.
thank you.
How old are your kids, Bella?
My kids are almost 15, 9, 5, and 10 months.
Aw, newborn baby. How cute. How cute.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I mean, you're raising your kids right. They understand and know who you are. Will learn who you are. And even being Bella doesn't change that you're still the dad and father to those wonderful boys. So, yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
And
Um,
by the way, you actually gave me an idea
yeah.
because when you were doing the wig roundtable,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
you say something about if you're a Packer fan, which I am a Packer fan, so
Oh,
I'm gonna
no.
have to go to Lambeau Field with a nice wig on.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Um, and yeah, we're doing that talk. I'll see if you're available on the 19th. We'll see what everyone else's availability. I'm still asking around, so we'll see. Especially it's Father's Day, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'll ask a couple more questions and I'll head out. But moving forward, what do you want to do with Bella? What are your plans with her? Like in the 5, 10 years from now, what do you want to do with Bella?
Moving forward, I would like Bella just to be free to do whatever she wants. That includes going to work as Bella if she feels like it. Um, my kids, if I feel like taking my kids to the park, taking them to the movie as Bella, you know, that would be nice. That would be nice. And honestly, like I say, you just gave me a great idea. Who knows? Maybe start some kind of church service with Bella. You know, people are, God does not discriminate. And that's the problem that gay people, lesbians, LGBT, the whole spectrum has a misconception that you cannot be a Christian if you're this or that. And that's not true,
Hmm.
you know? So that will be something nice to look into. Not that I don't have anything to do, kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
just being more free, more free. I mean, it's just Bella being out, Bella being Bella. That's why I choose Bella, and it's called Bella Vida because it's a beautiful life in
yes, yes,
Spanish.
yes, yes, yes.
So it's just that's just what I what looking forward to, 5, 10 years, people just know, and that's what I keep telling my wife, the world is opening up a lot more. You don't know in 10 years this is just going to be normalized. There'll
Mm-hmm.
be
Mm-hmm.
70, 80-year-old men that have been stuck in jeans and pants for their whole life wearing a nice skirt.
Yes, yes. I love it.
And
I love
that's
it.
that's my that's my job with my kids, making sure that I raise them to accept everybody.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna ask, how do you want to raise your kids in the Bella world? Looking
They
forward.
gotta be able to accept anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter, the skin color, their preferences, nothing. It's just needs to be accepted. I believe that's the main goal. Raise our kids, leave our kids to create a better world. So that's how I want to
Yes.
raise them.
Yes. Yes, girl. Yes. Everything, everything. Let me know what church you're gonna start. The Church of Bella. I'll go to. I will. I will go to that church every Sunday to learn how you're interpreting the Bible and living your Bella life. Seems very exciting.
Hey, I can see myself up there with a nice, cute outfit.
Oh
Preach the
yes.
word.
Oh my gosh. Yes. To have a bunch of people going to your sermon and we're all dressed up. Yes. Please.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it. You're living your best life. Like the
That's
CrossYaas
right.
Church. I don't know. I'm super excited. But yeah, I mean, we've talked for a bit, and I'll end now just because I got a lot of editing to do here and other episodes. But I thank you so much, Bella. I always end my interviews in with the question of, in a perfect world of cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender, Bella, what does that look like to you?
I knew you were gonna ask this question, and I didn't think about it.
And no one ever does. I ask her that, but nobody ever
I
knows the answer.
know. Well, let's go back to the anybody, you, me, anybody. Just waking up in the morning and being like, you know what, today I want to be Bella, and getting all dressed up if I have the time, walking out my door, saying hi to my neighbors as Bella, and hey Bella, how you doing? Going to work, people addressing you by Bella or by your female name or whatever, and just everybody being okay with who you are. You know, weird is the new norm. Does that make any sense? Because we
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
are, every single one of us is a unique person. Uniqueness is cool, you know. Every single one of us, none of us are identical to the other. We all have kinks and things in our life that nobody else might have. And it just needs to be accepted. So in a perfect world, it will be just people can live their lives to the fullest and don't have to worry about what my neighbor is going to think or what my father-in-law is going to think or what my pastor is going to think. If I feel like wearing a nice hot pink dress to church on Sunday, guess what? I'm going to wear a hot pink dress to church on Sunday, and it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what a perfect world would look like, where you can just be yourself,
Yes,
be
yes.
authentic to yourself.
Yes, 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 yes. Snapping, girl. I'm snapping for you. I'm so happy you're on the podcast. So wonderful. Um, Bella, do you have any are you public on Instagram? Do you want to give any shout out to your handles or where people can
Uh,
follow you or
I,
listen to you? No.
I'm not out public yet on Instagram, so but people can come and chat with me on the Discord. Just join your channel, and you'll see me there. Bella
Yes,
Vida.
yes,
But I'm hoping by the end of the year I can be more public about it.
yes. Well,
Because
people are probably going to want to talk to you because not only are you a pastor, but you're a cross-dressing pastor who has kids and is religious and from the Midwest. And I don't know, you have a lot of things that relate to you, girl. Like closeted, still kind of coming out there. I don't know, lots of things. We'll see. We'll see.
yes, we'll see how that turns out.
Be careful what you wish for, girl. You're gonna get like a bunch of messages and harassed and have all these questions. So be prepared. We have at least
Oh,
five listeners. So
oh shoot. Looking forward to it. Bring it on, baby.
Yes. Well, I'll edit this. I'll send you some questions so you can answer them. And if you have any photos you want to post or whatnot, you can do that. But thank you so much, Bella. You're amazing. You're wonderful. You're an amazing father, amazing crossdresser, just sweet, religious. I love it. Everything about you, girl. Yes.
Well, it was an honor to be in your podcast, so thank you. I don't think I mentioned it, but I have been listening to your podcast for like 2 years. So,
You have? Wow.
yeah, you were an inspiration. I found you when you were like on episode 40.
Oh,
So
okay.
I binge watched, listened to all the episodes in like a week.
Oh, yay. Yes. Because there's not a lot of resources out there, right? And you're like, oh,
Correct. So it's just thank you for what you're doing too.
oh,
It's nice, and it's because of you I found this community. So
oh,
if I wouldn't find the community, I wouldn't be, I would still be hiding. So
oh. Hmm.
thank you.
Well, I'm here. The podcast is here. The Discord's here. The Patreon's there for people who want to support us. You can support us, Bella, if you don't. It's not forced to, but it is, highly recommended to help us, move forward. But thank you so much, Bella. Oh, it means so
Thank you.
much. Oh, it means so much, girl. I'm here for you, anyone else listening. If you need anything, Bella, just message me. I'm quick to respond if I'm not busy and you're not busy. I'm here, girl. And we'll have you on the podcast again for, if not a roundtable, maybe update us maybe a year from now if you're still listening. If you're still not super popular enough that your church isn't big, your cross-dressing church sermons aren't keeping you busy, we'd love to have you back on the podcast to find out what you've been up to. Yeah.
Okay, I would love to. There's a lot of stories that I didn't count yet.
Oh, girl, we can't wait. Well, this one will get a lot of traction. I already know. But, girl, thank you so much. We'll have you on again. I love you, girl. Love you. Love you so much.
Thank you. Love you too.
All
Bye.
right. Have a good day. I'm gonna go ahead. Love you, girl.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Bye. And finally, the miscellany.
Yes!
And that was my Curi YAAS conversation with Bella, and wow, it was a fun one. I mean, Bella, a cross-dressing pastor, fucking blew my mind. Like, she said she's probably not the only cross-dressing pastor out there, but she's the only one that I know of who, I don't know, was able to come forward to tell her story. And really, what an incredible one at that. She's got 4 lovely sons who probably know about Bella, and I don't know, they seem totally okay with it. Bella has helped her wife kind of understand who Bella is, and well, they're working on stuff that, I don't know, they still need to work on. And I know Bella, I think, is frankly a badass for doing what she loves and is still preaching the word. Maybe not in church, because that church is kind of wrong for doing that whole Biden thing. But I don't know, Bella's living her life authentically. Look, also, we're not a religious podcast here at the CrossYaas Podcast, even though I'd classify myself as Catholic for, I don't know, all intents and purposes. But I'm not here to preach or force feed you ideas about the Catholic Church. I hate it too, but that obviously has nothing to do with this podcast, which is why I kind of love Bella's story in that even with her religion, she's understanding and she's not necessarily preaching to me about what I should believe in, but rather her religious beliefs may differ than mine, but she still loves her neighbor regardless of fault, religion, or whatever. And, by still loving your neighbor through, as she said, with whatever sin they may have, that should be the biggest takeaway from all this. Yes, Bella may be a crossdresser and have different beliefs than you, but she's still going to love you and want you to be the best version of yourself. And I don't know, I love to embody that. Like, not necessarily the religious pastor side, but more the, hey, you should be you and love you and want to express yourself. Like, truly just be yourself, and you know what? You're going to be loved for that. Obviously, don't be an asshole, but if you're kind, loving, and not hurting anyone, keep being that person. But that's all. Damn, I told you I talk way too much, but that's it for the month of June. I'll be back next month with some good episodes and bonus stuff in store. It's the summer, so we're excited. Hope you're excited. Hope you enjoy all the cool stuff that we have. But remember that nobody cares. Not about me, but about anything, really. About how you dress and stuff. So do whatever you want and wear whatever you want within reason. And I'm here to help you succeed, so let me know what you need. I know that I love you. I know it sucks, but yeah, I still love you. But like Bella said, I'm going to love you anyways, so that's what's up. And I know I talk about this all the time, but tell other people about this podcast, because I want to show them love too. If you think you don't belong anywhere, well, you do. You belong here at the CrossYaas Podcast because, well, you matter to me and you matter to someone, and I want to show you how much you matter. Talk with us on the CrossYaas Podcast Discord. I don't know, just just talk to someone, and we're here for you. So yeah, that's it. I talked too much, I told you. But until next time, as always, keep it fresh, stay blessed, and remember, you're gorgeous.